Welcome to the Utah Retirement System's Employer Services webinar series. This webinar has been pre-recorded. Please see the description below for links to different sections within the video and other useful information.
Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. The topic of today's webinar is Compliance Audit Document Request. I'm going to walk you through some of the details related to the information that we request from you when we begin your compliance review. My name is Beverly Snyder. I'm the Compliance Manager here at the Retirement Office. Before we begin, let's talk about why we do the audits. Audits are required by the legislature. They're mandated under Utah Code 4911-604. Here at the office, we have a schedule put together, and we're trying to come out and visit you every 3 to 4 years. As a reminder, we're not coming out to dig under your rocks. We're coming out to help you find your missing links. We have 4 compliance auditors here at the Retirement Office: myself, Connie Ventura-Smith, Jason Stegan, and Corey Ford. Before we talk about getting the process started, I want to let you know how we select our audits, and we do it by county. I have a schedule put together, and you are always welcome to contact me to find out where you that would prevent you from getting it to us within 2 weeks, we always encourage you to contact your compliance auditor to let them know that. Once we receive your documents, we're ready to begin your audit process, and the quicker you get the information to us, the more efficient and quickly we get your compliance review done. We're going to ask you for 5 different things when we start your review process. The first thing we're going to ask you for is that current employee list, and we're going to talk about all of these. We're also going to ask you for a list of all of your elected and appointed officials. We're going to ask you for another list of independent contractors, anybody that is doing work for you and you're providing them with a 1099. We're going to ask you for specific policies and procedures, and we're going to ask you for payroll reports. So let's break that down. Let's talk about that employee list. First thing, we're going to ask you for a full employee list. Everybody that is on your current list as of the day that you're going to provide that list. Everybody on payroll, regardless of what their classification is or what they're doing for you. They might be full-time, they might be part-time, temporary, seasonal. Whatever classification you use, you need to include them on the employee list. Please do not include employees who are terminated or employees who are deceased. When you include people who are not current active employees, it forces us to do a little bit more research, and then we come back to you and it forces you to have to do a little bit more research. So make sure you're only including the full-time, part-time, temporary, seasonal, all of the employees that are currently employed the day that you send us that list. When you provide us that list, please make sure you have a column for the name, the social security number, the hire date, their job title, their employment status, and their benefit status, and we're going to talk about this. If you are a higher ed employer, we need you to also provide a column that tells us which retirement plan they are in. If you are a school district, we need you to also include whether or not that employee works in multiple positions. We ask that you provide the list to us in an Excel format. When we receive this list, we do a lot of work with it in order to complete your compliance review. So we need to be able to sort that employee list by the job classification. Then we sort that list in multiple ways. So please always provide your employee list in an Excel format for us. Let's break down a couple of the items that we're asking for on that employee list. Employment status. Is the employee full-time, part-time, temporary? Whatever classification you use, give us that employee classification on that employee list. And second, on the benefit status, we always get a lot of questions on this. We're not asking for you to break that down and give us the list of all of their benefits that they're receiving. We're going to test that in the audit. All we're asking for on that master employee list is a column. Are they benefited or are they not benefited? You can list it out like that, or you can just say yes or no. Are they receiving any of those qualifying benefits that would make them eligible for retirement? Next, let's talk about the list of elected and appointed officials. This is a common misconception when we go out into the field and we ask for the list of all of the elected and appointed officials, and a lot of times we'll get the response, well, they're elected and appointed, they're not our employees. Here at the retirement office, elected and appointed officials qualify differently for retirement. If they are elected or appointed to represent your agency, then we consider them your employees. So you need to provide us with the list. You can include them on your master employee list, and then in their job classification, just put in there they are elected or appointed, or you can provide us with a separate list. Please make sure that you include everybody, because once again, their eligibility is determined differently and we have to test them a little differently. Please be sure to include all of the members of your Water Commission and your Planning Commission. Please include on this list, we need their name, we need their social security number, we need their position, and we need to know the date that they took office. When we begin our testing, if they are Tier 1, we're going to be asking you for payroll to verify their earnings. If they're Tier 2, we're going to be asking you for that Tier 2 policy in order to verify their eligibility. Moving on to independent contractors, some of you may call them independent contractors, some may call them 1099 employees, some of you may call them vendors. We are looking for a list or a copy of a 1099 for every individual that you have information on that you're going to provide a 1099 at the end of the year. We are even looking for those who don't earn up to $600, so you won't be reporting them to the IRS, but you have still compensated them. We need everybody that you're compensating with and intending to provide them with a 1099. Please make sure that you include their name, their social security number, or their federal tax ID. Whatever number they have provided you for earnings reporting, that's what you need to provide to us. When we're looking at your independent contractors or your 1099 employees, what we are looking for here is, are you hiring or contracting with anybody that is a post-retired employee? Because just as a side note, post-retired laws apply to everybody regardless of how you're compensating them. Next, we're going to ask you for policies and procedures. We're not asking you to provide us with a 300-page document because we're not going to read every single thing. We're looking for very specific policies. We need policies that are related to how you classify your employees. We need policies that are related to retirement eligibility, and we need policies that are related to employee benefits. When do they start getting vacation? When do they start getting sick leave? With the retirement eligibility, if you have an early retirement plan, please make sure that you include that for us also. You can either send us your handbook or your manual, or when we request that information, you can just provide us with the link and we will go into your policies and procedures and pull out whatever it is that we feel that we need to be looking at. So that's your choice on how you give us those policies and procedures. But one side note, please make sure that you give us the most current, most recent approved documents that you have on file for your agency. Next, we're going to ask you for payroll reports. What we need your payroll reports for is we're verifying your knowledge of the contribution reporting process, and this is how we're testing your knowledge of eligibility. So when you provide us the payroll reports, we need a report that provides us with the earnings, the hours worked, and benefits received. So I would expect to see a report that would say, I earned $25,000, I worked 1,040 hours, and throughout the course of the year, I took vacation or sick leave, or I received holiday pay. With these reports, this is the most confusing thing for the employers that we ask for in an audit, and we typically do not like to have to bug you and continue to ask you for different reports. If you're unsure of what report to provide for us, please contact your compliance auditor, because a lot of times we have the name of the report that's going to work best for us. Please provide us with a report where the line items are broken out by pay code. So I can clearly see that this is pay code 1, this is regular earnings. Pay code 2 might be my overtime. Pay code 3 might be my vacation. And those are just hypothetical. I know that you all have your own codes and your own abbreviations for everything, but make sure that you are providing us with a report that breaks it down so we can clearly see what the earnings are. And we'll ask you to provide us with a copy of your pay codes during the compliance review. If you have public employees, typically a year-end summary payroll report for each employee will provide us what we're looking for. But if you have public safety and firefighters, we're probably always going to need you to provide us that report that gives it to us by pay period and then a year-end summary, because as you all know, public safety and firefighters, the reporting on them is a little bit more strict. Okay, so that's what we need for the payroll reports. I'm going to provide you a few additional resources, because when we call you up and tell you that we're coming out to do a compliance review, I don't want it to be a panic mode. I want you to look at this website right here. If you log into URS and you click on that employer button, go out there to the left and click on the knowledge corner. Right there it says employee webinars. All of these webinars, like the one you're listening to today, we archive them. We keep them out there for you for a very long period of time. You can go out there and read and re-listen to all of our webinars. But right here in the Knowledge Corner, we have a 17-minute webinar on how to be compliance audit ready. Today, I'm just talking about the documents we're going to ask you for and giving you specific details. This webinar is going to walk you through the audit process. It's going to tell you what you can expect, and it's also going to let you know what kind of testing we're doing and why we're doing it. So if you want a better understanding and you know that you're coming up on a compliance review, always go back and watch this webinar right here. Second, I want to give you a list of contact information for all of us compliance auditors here at the retirement office. Please keep in mind that nobody else from our office will ever be calling you to do a compliance review. If it's not one of these 4 individuals that you're looking at on this screen right here, please stop and pick up the phone and give me a call. I'm going to leave this screen up for just a few minutes so that you can document emails and phone numbers for us here at the retirement office. You are welcome to contact any of us, even if you're not in the middle of a compliance review. We're always happy to educate you, train you, answer any questions that you may have. And always, if you want to know where you are in the compliance audit schedule, you are welcome to call me anytime. We've got our schedule put together for the next 12 months, so I will always be able to at least give you a month ballpark of when we would be coming out to see you. Not an exact day, but a ballpark. I thank you for joining us for the webinar today. I'm going to leave this screen up for just a few minutes so you can keep writing down the contact information, and I look forward to seeing you at one of our live trainings. Thank you for joining us today.